After the cessation of suffering, will there be no more suffering? Devotee asked, last night, Ajahn said that when suffering is extinguished, there will be no more suffering. Does this mean there will never be suffering again, or will suffering reappear after some time? Ajahn Golf answer, suffering is of two kinds, mental suffering and physical suffering. Regarding physical suffering, Ajahn has already explained it previously. As for mental suffering, the Buddha taught that mental suffering is like bacteria. We must completely eradicate these bacteria from our minds. If we follow the Dhamma and thoroughly eliminate the bacteria of suffering from our minds, it will not arise again. As mentioned before, the mind is deathless. When we have completely eradicated the bacteria of suffering, the mind becomes free from suffering. When the mind is free from suffering, it is entirely without defilements. When it is entirely without defilements, we call this nibbana. When the mind is in such a state, it is permanent, unconditioned. The mind is permanently free from suffering, impermanence, and non-self. Regarding your question about whether suffering will return, it depends on whether we have completely eradicated the bacteria of suffering. The defilements, for example, if we have not yet fully eradicated greed, hatred, and delusion from our minds, suffering has the opportunity to arise again. However, if we can completely eradicate the suffering and defilements in our minds, as the Buddha and the Arahants did, then suffering will not arise again. After attaining arahantship, while they are still alive, their mental suffering is completely eradicated. They only experience physical suffering. They may still feel hunger, and their bodies may still experience pain. However, their minds are not affected by physical suffering. These noble ones, while living in this world, will encounter both pleasant and unpleasant things. Some people may praise them, while others may criticize them, but none of this affects them. When their lifespan comes to an end, physical suffering ceases, and only the pure mind remains. In simple terms, the Buddha and the noble ones are like everyone else. The difference is that they only experience physical suffering, not mental suffering. What causes the mind to give rise to suffering is defilements. When the mind is affected by defilements, it experiences suffering. The mind is like a piece of cloth. Emotions and defilements are like water. When water drips onto the cloth becomes wet and stays wet. The mind of an arahant is like a mirror. When water drips onto the mirror, it does not absorb the water. The water simply flows off the mirror